Today I wanted to talk about Ronoel Simoes, the great classical guitar record collector. Ricardo Munoz, in his Historia Universal de la Guitarra Volume 6, America, says that Ronoel was born on March 24th of 1919 in Sao Paulo. In 1940, he began studying with the virtuoso teacher Attilio Bernardini. He had a Del Vecchio guitar. Here we see a 1955 photo. This is from the Harmonia magazine, published in Sendai, Miyagi-ken, Japan, a city that was devastated during the tsunami of March 11, 2011. If you put in katakana, which is the phonetic characters in Japanese for foreign words, if you put in Ronoel Simoes in Google, it brings up nothing. You can put in most other names and it will bring up something, but I went to look for that the other day. And in this September, October 1956 issue of Harmonia, Volume 3, Number 5, it says the musical writer for Brazil's largest daily newspaper publication, Gazeta, Ronoel Simoes, has the world's largest record collection without equal that exists for guitar records. As for that collection, it has only classical guitar solos, has reached 600 pieces. According to Simoes' commentary, 435 records had been broadcast up until September of last year on Radio Sao Paulo. And besides, it is said this show surprisingly has happened to have used 1,600 songs. Therefore, at that time until today, the 2 years that it has been continuing, the value has to be admired. The photograph was sent at the time of the letter. As for his own, it isn't from this excellent guitarist. If it's that principal proverb in Harmonia magazine to accept the introduction, that's all right. He refused to write. As for his humble word, it is cleansed. Because of the Sao Paulo Guitar Society's sponsorship of the joint recital, duets of Caruli Soar, short works of Taraga were played. Even if it's not the guitar soloist, it's the excellent concert guitarist. If it's not the name of the concert guitarist, the protector of the guitar music, the name Ronoel Simoes has to remain in long history. And on the opposite page, this is page 2463 of my annotations for the history of the classical guitar. This is volume 4. This weighs 21 pounds, $300, shipping included, shipped worldwide. So then we find a bunch of the BMG magazines, which I'm going to read a few, not all. In 1953, Peter Sensier began a column in BMG magazine and published in London called Guitar News from Overseas. Ronoel Simoes was one of the fervent correspondents. Ronoel Simoes, prominent Brazilian guitarist, has recently forwarded me numerous programs, most recent recitals given under the auspices of the Associação Cultural do Vilau, Brazilian Guitar Society, are number 38 by Antonio Simala on January 28th, including 6 works composed by the soloist, and number 39 on February 20th by Sebastião Galante, including works by Barrios, Villalobos, and Tárrega. Ronoel Simoes, who is a professor of the guitar in Sao Paulo, is also a guitar correspondent to the newspaper A Gazeta, for which he writes a long and regular column covering all aspects of the guitar, its history and personalities. So that's from a BMG magazine, June issue, 1954, volume 51, number 590. And at times he would write articles about Agustin Barrios in earlier parts of the book, in the Barrios 101-page biography. I've got that listed, I think, a couple different newspaper clippings. Over here on the next page, page 2464, I showed a clip from a guitar review magazine from issue number 7 from 1948. It states that Ronoel started his radio program in 1945. This is the oldest evidence I've found of this manner. On the next page we see there is a mention from the Harmonia magazine from February 1956. As for Sao Paulo's famous record collector, Ronoel Simoes' Radio Gazeta broadcast last year, September 18th, was the 386th program. That's in 11 years. Up until that program, 173 guitarists, and the amount of songs was numbered up to 1,772 pieces. Therefore, he broadcast once a week. The program has already been running for a length spanning 7 years, according to Mr. Horiuchi Keizo's Music Fountain. Therefore, it shouldn't be surprising that it has the best spins. Furthermore, in the Daily Gazeta and O Vilão, to give a title to the articles periodically come out, in my usual skill from January 1953, that clipping coming in abundance, one letter to become the guitar discussion, Simoes' extensive knowledge and effort. My bowed head is not only obliged. That is from the February 1956 issue of Harmonia magazine, volume 3, number 1. The magazine was printed in Sendai, Miyagi-ken, a city heavily damaged by the tsunami after the March 11th earthquake. In 2011, 8.9 magnitude earthquake. Japanese translation by Randy Osborne. So Ronoel had the largest record collection, over 8,000 records, and he had about 200 scrapbooks that had concert programs, newspaper clippings, reviews. Here we see, I mentioned this on an earlier video this week, that he advertised in Guitar News, Wilfred Appleby magazine. This is an ad he had in the May-June 1964, looking to buy more records. He had an unquenchable thirst to acquire great pieces of music played by the world's classical guitarists. I remember Rico Stover telling me, oh man, when I was there and visited him many years ago, he had some LPs from Cuba that you just can't get anywhere else. He said he had everything you could think of. And I mentioned there are videos of him on YouTube. In 2017, the Brazilian government, which bought the collection at the end of all the negotiations amongst different people involved trying to acquire that huge collection, which was priced at $100,000. They have a video I saw last week, and it's only about 3 minutes long, a little under 3 minutes, and they show you a part of the record collection housed in a building in Sao Paulo. Here we see a picture of Ronoel Simoes from Guitar News magazine from 1972, towards the end of the guitar magazine's long run from 1951. Here we see Rosario, his wife. She went back to Barcelona after she was paid for the collection by the Brazilian government. And this is from a 1967 Guitar News magazine published by Wilfred Appleby. Wilfred Appleby was an incredible person. Long before he was publishing his Guitar News magazine, which he started in 1951, he was writing articles about guitar makers, etc., for the BMG magazine in the early 1940s. At the same time, we find that Jack Duarte, or I should say John Duarte, as he eventually became known when he was doing the John Williams recorded Bach pieces, he was doing jazz articles for the BMG magazine in the mid-1940s, and he was known as Jack Duarte.